for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Spendy.
Here.
Moss. Here. Dodson.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Bulkey.
Here.
McCann.
Here.
And Rainey.
Here.
Mayor Jessup.
Here.
And all seven of the council and their present.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Burbank.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening on a steamy summer evening. Up tonight, we have the council agenda. We do have some changes to the agenda. Being pulled from the agenda tonight are 2.5.1 in the consent agenda and action items 3.4.5, 3.4.6, and 3.4.7. With those changes, I would look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Noted.
Motion by Brent to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor Jessup, have you got any for us this evening?
Nothing tonight, thank you, Council President Reed.
Thank you. We're now to the consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of city council meeting minutes, other board commission minutes, licenses, permits, and miscellaneous items, all grouped together for the council to review prior to the meeting and vote on collectively. With that, I will entertain a motion on these consent agenda.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Don. Any further discussion? Brent Spendy.
Note my involvement with the still county tree fair as my director, so I'll make that for the record.
Thank you. Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now up to the action items, and first up tonight is the finance report. And for that, we go to Vice President Doug Voss. Good evening.
Thank you, President Rainey, and thank you to the staff for a nice short list and checks over $20,000 for your consideration tonight are as follows. $23,548 to Central Farm Service for fleet fuel. $97,382 to Hydro Clean for the 2025 CIPPS projects, pay estimate number 3. $40,800 to the Chamber of Commerce for the second half of the Main Street contract, the second half of the Economic Development Services, and Chamber Bucks third quarter anniversary awards of $800. $26,500 to Terracon Consultants for professional services on the 18th Street Southeast project. Other expenditures of $246,590 for total expenditures presented for approval $434,821.28.
That's a small report.
That was great.
Any questions on the finance report? Look for a motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Finance report has been approved. We have one ordinance tonight, 3.2.1, second final reading of proposed ordinance 25-209 to amend the city code section 93-029, noise in public parks, and we go to City Attorney Mark Walbrand. Good evening, sir.
There are no changes to the ordinance that was approved in the last council.
Thank you. No changes to that, so I would look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Doug to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Councilmember Spendy.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need a roll call on this. Where were you on that, Doug?
Trying to get your
Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Spendy.
Aye.
Moss.
Aye.
Dodson.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Bulkey.
Aye.
McCann.
Aye.
And Rainey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeanette. We're now up to the resolution. We have one resolution tonight, 36-25. It is for Good Day Express Car Wash, and we go to Community Development Director Troy Plecker. Good evening, sir.
All right, good evening, thank you. We do have a request for Good Day Express Car Wash to be located at 1810 South Cedar. That's the site of the former Salvation Army. It is zoned B2 Community Business District, and car washes do require a conditional use permit. site would eliminate access off of Cedar Avenue as well as at the corner of Cedar Avenue and 18th Street. The one access point would be directly across from the Hy-Vee driveway on 18th Street. All traffic would be directed around the building, providing quite a bit of stack room before you get to the pay station. And then they would all exit at that location as well. All parking requirements are met. They are also proposing 7 trees to be planted to meet our landscaping requirements. We did have a public hearing at Planning Commission last week. We did have the property owner to the south that expressed some concerns about access and visibility of the strip mall there. There are no access easements to anyone's knowledge providing access to that parking lot. The Planning Commission did recommend approval, and with the additions listed in the staff report there, staff would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Troy on this? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve. So moved. Motion by Dan to approve, do I have a second? Second. Second by Doug. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have 6 miscellaneous items tonight. First one is 3.4.1 tree trimmer permit, the Davy Tree Expert Company out of Rochester, and we go to City Administrator Chris Lucy. Good evening.
Good evening. We have received an application from Tanya Austin for a tree trimmer permit for the Davy Tree Expert Company. Their main office is in Kent, Ohio, with a location in Rochester. We have received their application, payment of fees, and a required certificate of insurance. A background verification is in process. Total amount received is $150, and staff recommends approval contingent upon completion of a successful background check.
And Chris,
Thank you.
just take that back. This one is done, yes.
Okay.
Any questions for Chris? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Nate to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that has been approved. Next, we're up to 3.4.2, another tree trimmer permit, born to trim out of Princeton, Minnesota, and once again, City Administrator Lucy.
Yes, thank you. Similarly, we have received the application. Background check is in process. We haven't received it yet, so we would recommend approval contingent upon a successful background check.
Thank you. Any questions on this? Dave?
Chris, what will that give us for total licensed tree trimmers in the city now?
You know, we've gotten quite a few lately. Do you know off the top of your head, Jeanette?
I would say we probably have 10.
Is there anybody in the audience from either firm? I wonder what's driving the growth. Is it Emerald Ash Borer?
I think there are a lot of trees affected by
Okay.
the ash like this.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? No other questions? I'd look for our, we have motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dave, screw me up. We're now up to 3.4.3, a service agreement with a financial assessment with Abdo, and we go to Human Resources Manager Emily Famer for that. Oh, we're going Emily Burns, I'm sorry.
It's one of them. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we are asking for approval for 2 service agreements with Abdo, which is a consultant firm that we have been visiting with in the finance department over the course of the last 12 months. As you know, our department has undergone significant changes in leadership and personnel. And with the investment into the OpenGov ERP software, we felt like it was time to work with an outside company to kind of reevaluate our processes and procedures, make sure we're optimizing the software, or utilizing the software, and also our payroll software to its best capabilities. So Abdo will help us reevaluate everything, make sure that we are on track and doing everything as efficiently as possible. The 2025 budget impact for these agreements and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Emily? Don?
Emily, just a quick question. So this is just a 1 year overall 12-month agreement? It's not continuous going forward?
It's, well, it's actually.
I know it goes 25, 26, so it's
Yeah,
12 months.
It's several months. What it will get us is we'll have several consultants come out, many of whom have been in municipal finance for decades. And then different CPAs from financial advisors will come out, work with the team. They'll conduct interviews, discussions with the staff to make sure that everybody knows exactly what their roles are, how to utilize the software, and then it'll be an ongoing service type of lead throughout the next year. Might be additional service or fees if we continue on with the agreement, but it's really just kind of to get everything up and running as efficiently as possible. And they're available anytime that we need them. So, you know, if we consult with them for other things, there'll be additional costs for those. But right now, for the foreseeable future, it's just these two agreements.
Okay, so it's to help us maximize the software that we currently are using to...
Right, yes, to make sure we're getting the most out of the software. We have a very comprehensive software package right now that, with the staff being so new and, you know, myself coming on board less than a year ago, it will help us make sure that we're using everything to its best capabilities.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Emily Burns? I think that's the second time I've done that to you.
It's fine.
Hearing none, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Doug to approve by second.
Second.
Second by Nate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is 3.4.4, accept proposal for tuck pointing project at City Hall with innovative masonry. And for that, we will go to Assistant City Administrator Chad Chuma. Good evening.
Thank you. Hello. I'm wearing my other hat, and this is government buildings. We have been doing a number of tuck pointing projects for about 3 or 4 years on City Hall, and we've been doing it phased. We got probably a couple left. This one in front of you is for the south end of the building, that wing down there, that pump out area. We put it out for bid to meet within our parameters, our funding. We were looking to move forward with innovative masonry restoration. They're the same group that did it last year, very confident in their ability and the work that they did. They did really quality work. So looking for approval to accept this bid.
Thank you. Any questions? Doug?
Do you by any chance know what percentage completed we are on this project?
I would say we're probably about 85% on this building of the desperate needed areas. It's really the back area by the Art Center and that wing that we're working on are the two areas that are still left. So we've been kind of chipping away at them, I guess.
So it'll be 85% when this is complete?
That's
I would
this
say it's
building.
85-90%. We've got about 2 more rounds of this, or we could combine them together.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you.
We're now up to 3.4.8, accept proposal and award contract for the wastewater treatment facility lift station panel installation with Advanced Engineering and Environmental Services. And we go to Sean Murphy, Public Works Director. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, we're requesting City Council's approval of our wastewater treatment facilities lift station panel installation proposals and contract awarding to Kilmer Electric Company Incorporated. As part of our wastewater treatment facility upgrade, we have installed advanced SCADA systems to allow us to monitor all of our lift stations and all of our satellite pumps, operating equipment to understand when issues go wrong or to operate more efficiently during low, high times of volume of inflow. With this contract awarding, we will be replacing our Autumn Hills, Cedardale, Frontage Road, and Heritage lift stations. The contracted cost for all 4 of those panels would be $75,392. The project is being paid for out of our sewer fund. With that, staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Sean? Hearing none, for motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Brent to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Don, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Finally, final item tonight is 3.4.9, employment agreement with City Administrator Tuma. And we will go to Emily Paymer now for that. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So tonight, I have the employment agreement for Jenna Tuma. So following a comprehensive and public selection process, the City Council voted unanimously during their special meeting on May 23rd to offer the position of City Administrator to Jenna Tuma. So upon approval of this agreement, Jenna will assume the role on August 8th. So the impact of this agreement is included in our annual personnel budget. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Emily on this?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Doug Voss to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Don. Any discussion? I just want to say it was a very large process to get to where we are tonight. I thank Emily and her staff guiding council all the way through this. This is not something that we do very often. So really appreciate Emily and her staff. Jenna, congratulations. I'm not going to ask Chris to hold her feet up, but you've got some big shoes to fill. And I know you're capable, more than capable of doing it, but thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. We have one staff report tonight, and that would be our future City Administrator, Jenna Tuma.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your vote of confidence. It's humbling to be able to take this role over. And part of my update is this transition that we've been in for a number of months with Chris and myself, and also all the department heads. And so my update is to tell you it's going very smoothly. It's a lot of information that lady holds in her head. And so it's a lot to take over, but it's been going really well, and I just, applaud Chris for being so open and so sharing with her information to make sure it's successful for me and the rest of the team. So she really cares. And I know it's hard to believe, but she's not slacking. She's still coming in to work on time. We're holding her here till 6 or 7 at night, but she is really working hard to make sure the transition goes well, and it really is. So really, we also have a reception for Chris in Wednesday, the 6th.
Yes.
Before the council meeting, so we are sending her off on her way that day. No, and then the next day, sorry, the year. But we do have a reception for it, and there'll be more promotion and advertising for that too. But really just wanted to give you an update that things are going well. The community should know we're in good hands, and the team is really rallying around to make it happen.
And I would add that Jenna's doing a great job. She's really taking the reins, and she's a fast learner and a hard worker. And I couldn't be happier with the selection the council made, and she's going to do a great job for you. I'm very pleased.
Any comments? Thank you. Any questions of Jenna? Thank you. We're now up to the public comment portion of the council meeting. You'll be limited to 2 minutes for your comments. Please approach the microphone, sign in, state your name and address for the record after being acknowledged by the council president. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to deliver their comments. Council Vice President Voss will be timing and hold up a hand after 1 minute 45 seconds to notify the speaker they have 15 seconds to complete their comment. Those speaking are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner as they deliver their comments. Audience members are asked to refrain from reacting to comments. The council will not respond directly to comments in this venue or take immediate action in response to them. With that, the public comment area is now open. Yes. Nope.
Councilors and Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to talk tonight. On Saturday, my wife...
Excuse me, sir. Can you state your name,
I'm
please?
sorry, I wrote it down. Douglas, I'm Doug Parr, 560 Oakwood Lane.
Thank you. Good evening.
You're welcome, thanks. On Saturday, my wife and daughter and our daughter-in-law went to celebrate love at the Pride in the Park event in Central Park. It was uplifting. No one came there to show negativity. Everyone there intended to express their joy in Owatonna's inclusive and welcoming spirit, except for a very small group of people from outside our beautiful community who came to sow hatred. These hate-filled zealots came to insult us for our loving acceptance of our sisters and brothers and daughters and sons. And they succeeded in making this joyful celebration less so. Like boorish, ill-intended, uninvited guests at a sacred observation of love for one another, they insulted and intentionally provoked the revelers. They stood in front of the stage and shouted insult at the performers and those of us who were there to hear the musicians and enjoy the day. Some of us were made to be afraid, as these bullies obviously intended. They wanted us to go back to being afraid and silent. A few of us were intimidated to the point of tears. Many of us felt rage, but we held our tongues and kept our fists at our sides. The bullies were there to provoke us, and we peacefully held our ground in spite of the obvious provocations. These outsiders were here to inspire conflict and hate. After returning home, I did some research and found that there was a statute, a Minnesota statute, that covers their behavior and calls for a possible 90-day jail time or up to $1,000 of fines.
Thank you.
I asked.
Okay, person. Good evening, my name is Reverend Nathan Black, Mayor Jessup, council members, city staff. I am delighted to live in Owatonna. I think we have a beautiful city. I think that your commitment to this city shows in so many ways, in so many aspects of our life here. However, I believe what has been happening with the response to how the city has responded to outside, or actually their local protesters to LGBT events has been inadequate. And while there has been a lot of hard work over the past couple of years, and I acknowledge that, I acknowledge the progress that we have made. What happened on Saturday, I believe, was a failure of response specifically by our police department. We made multiple calls throughout the day to have the police come to be present. There were specific instances of incitement to violence that these protesters were causing. The police did not come until city staff had to call them in. City staff was present. And so as a community, we are wondering if the city or police department actually supports us. My two requests are, and I get from our conversations with city staff and with our police leadership, is that there's a major concern about how to enforce city statute like disorderly conduct while honoring the civil rights and protecting the First Amendment for everybody. There's a lot of concerned about how to do that well. And so my request is that the city invest in specific education, consultation by civil rights attorneys that can educate our police department on the law, on how to intervene in these situations. I also ask the city accelerate, direct our
thank you.
attorney to accelerate the process to invest in
Thank you.
issuing our park permits, to have an exclusive use park permit as an option. Thank you.
Council, Mayor, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Levi Hendricks. I live at 109 Lincoln Avenue. Thank you. The following might be uncomfortable, but I wish to relay specific events that happened because respectfully, I believe you need to know. And it is of concern for you. I witnessed events this last Saturday at Pride in the Park with Owatonna. People following others around, repeatedly calling them whores, demons, saying they would burn in hell. And while it's your right to hold these beliefs, shouting them at others while following them around repeatedly in a public park is harassment and it is intimidation. Furthermore, attempting to drown out others' free speech, blocking view of a stage that the city has put up for entertainment, for people to see. That's not free speech. That is prohibiting others' free speech. That is suppression of free speech. Screaming at people and not leaving them alone with the grace and poise of a child, waving their hands in front of your face, saying, "I'm not touching you," is maybe staying within the letter of the law, but I think we all know that that's actually incitement to violence. Wearing cameras while doing so kind of demonstrates foreknowledge and premeditation of this. I think it is a failure of the police department to not have a presence in this situation. We see violent situations or situations that are tense and can cause violence. At bar close, an officer might be there just to remind people, make good decisions, don't throw that punch, don't drive drunk. But there was none present for the majority of our time on Saturday, and that is an embarrassment. I have friends on the force. I don't mean to disparage any individuals. I appreciate what they do for us. But I ask of the city and the police department to do better and to do it now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
John Weissenberger, 352 East Broadway Street.
Good evening.
I've lived in town for over 20 years and worked here. I was at the Pride in the Park event and it was pretty disturbing what happened, just the way it unfolded. Intimidation and disruption was their goal. And I think the city, police department, they knew they were coming, but still to allow it to happen, what happens, not great. Right? And I think, I understand, I appreciate talking to Police Chief Mondell about like exclusive use permits versus public spaces, and legally there's some line there, and there's fear of being sued and prosecution by the city and the police department, but there certainly must be a way to prevent it happening when it comes around again. So just appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I'm Sue Lightfoot-Bocock. I live at 346 East School Street, and I'm a part of Rainbow Owatonna. I also manned or womaned the craft space. During the time in the craft space, when things started to get out of hand with the protesters, they started encroaching upon the children's space and had a picture of an aborted baby facing the children's table. I had children crying. I had one child say that he was told he was a devil and he was going to go to hell. This is not acceptable. This is not who we are. What is the difference between free speech and harassment and disorderly conduct and hate speech is what I want to know. And what would happen if this happened at concerts at 7 or downtown Thursday or any other event such as the farmer's market? Would we tolerate this, or do we just tolerate it because it's of a marginalized people? That's all I have to say, is that it was very disturbing to a Pride, beautiful event that was in no way provoking violence in any way from the people who were participating, but the protesters did everything that they could to make us angry. And I was really proud of Owatonnans for standing up for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a chance to sign the sheet? Okay, thank you.
Greetings, and thank you. Alan O'Malley, Larson, 515 Agnes Street. And I was the MC of the event and also one of the performers. And I gotta say that the amount of times that I was shouted at, shouted down, blocked the meeting to say what I was gonna say, I couldn't even hear myself saying what I was trying to do, because they were right there in front of me, bouncing away. I don't know if Doug was referring to statutes around harassment or not, but I think it's aggravated harassment because it's related to a protected class of people, sexual orientation, which is what the legislation says. I've also heard it said that people are talking about, well, we're gonna see what we can do. No, we shouldn't be approving this to see what we can do. Usually that leads to, well, no, we can't. We need to be saying, we're gonna do something about this. We're gonna come up with a way to prevent this from happening in the future. I know there's been talk about the idea that Rochester and Mankato have ordinances that allow for exclusive use of city parks or something of that nature. And it's been said around here that that can't happen. Why not? Let's find out what the difference is and why not. We've got to stop this from happening. I had the assurance that I can guarantee you that there weren't very many people at the end of the day that felt like they belonged. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kimber Wilson, I live at 816 Southwark Avenue.
Good evening.
I would like to share both my appreciation for this year's Pride of the Park event and a concern regarding the conduct of certain protesters that have experienced community attendance. First and foremost, Pride of the Park was a fantastic celebration. The atmosphere is vibrant and welcoming, with fun activities for all ages and phenomenal lineup of performers that brought incredible energy to the crowd. The food was diverse and delicious, and every volunteer vendor and community member we encountered was kind, welcoming, and helpful. My daughter, who is aromantic, an identity that isn't widely understood or talked about, felt truly included and seen, and that meant the world to our family. She had the time of her life. Even our dog, who was loved by all and received so much attention, enjoyed every moment. We danced, laughed, and celebrated alongside our community, creating unforgettable memories. However, I was deeply disturbed by the behavior of a group of protesters who stood directly in front of the performance stage, intentionally blocking the performers with large explicit signs, including disturbing images of dead babies and showing slurs and aggressive insults at attendees. These actions were not only disruptive, but deeply inappropriate, especially with so many families and children present. Instead of seeing joyful performances, many children were forced to see hateful and graphic content. To protect the integrity of future public gatherings, I urge the city to consider implementing designated protest areas to ensure that free speech does not come at the expense of public safety and community well-being. That everyone's rights are respected, both those wishing to demonstrate and those participating in community events, also upholding constitutional rights and maintaining a safe and welcoming space for all. Thank you for your continued support of events that celebrate diversity, love, and unity. And thank you to everyone who helped make Pride in the Park such a meaningful and joyful experience for so many.
Thank you.
Lucille Larson, 1209 Austin Road.
Good evening.
I have something prepared, but I don't even know if I'm going to say it all. Most have said it already. First time I've been upset has been this year. It seems like it's gotten worse. Children crying and upset, running to their mothers, and their mothers being targeted. It's not acceptable. There was no police presence to stop this. This is why I prepared it so I wouldn't lose my place. It was a beautiful event. The day was perfect. It was sunny, windy, food vendors, art vendors, local businesses. If you believe nothing, believe local businesses are impacted by this as well. And community, hundreds of people wanted to be here to celebrate. No image, no graphic images from any of our booths, no other things like that. All of a sudden, here comes the protesters with all of those things, with all of that hate. This would not be a drama-filled event if they would not be there. Be like farmers market. It happens, it's done, we go home. Now children are traumatized, parents are traumatized, people feel like they don't belong. Do I feel like I could call the police an emergency? I don't know. Would they come? Would they know who I am and say, no, we're not gonna protect her? This is the view that people see of Owatonna. Is this the picture we want for Owatonna? We just spent all that money to rebrand. I don't think this is the view that we want, and I think we want the community to be welcoming to everyone. And we're not saying protesters can't be there. They can be there, they can peacefully protest. This was not peacefully protested. This was disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, harassment of a marginalized group of people. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Daniels, and I live at 1807
Good evening.
I'm also here to talk about Saturday. Let me be clear, I support free speech and peaceful protest. Well, what we've seen lately is not peaceful. We've had protesters screaming at families, shoving graphic images of aborted fetuses in children's faces, and telling strangers they're going to hell. That's not expression, it's harassment, and it has no place in our public spaces, especially at events meant to be safe and family friendly. What makes it worse is that a lot of these people aren't even from our town. They come in with their megaphones, hateful language, and completely inappropriate signs, and somehow it's our local police protecting them and not the families who actually live here. If someone waved a bloody poster outside a daycare on a normal day, they would be removed immediately, but slap the word protest on it, and suddenly we are supposed to accept it. We need our police to protect public safety, not just stand by while outsiders shout over our citizens. Our town's events and public spaces should feel welcoming, not hijacked by extremists who stir up chaos and leave us to deal with the damage. This isn't about politics, it's about public decency and safety. I'm urging our police department to enforce the laws we already have around harassment and disorderly conduct. We need a clear line between protest and intimidation. And we need to make sure our community stays safe, respectful, and family friendly. Thank you.
Thank you. You look good.
Gary Jones, 995 Ridge Road.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm here this evening to provide a few more thoughts on ambient light. At the last meeting, TW provided insight from Paul Burr of the DNR, who felt that ambient light 30 minutes after dark could still provide enough light for an ethical shot in the archery hunt. As a blanket approach across Minnesota, I'd say he's probably right on target. But in Owatonna, the other factors he mentioned, such as cloud cover and tree canopy, may be all that we need to get a park goer or homeowner killed in Mineral Springs Park. Now, since I've been arguing against bow hunting in the dark in Mineral Springs, please note that I have not said in any prior meetings that time should be changed at every park. I've stated that if you are at Leo Rudolph or North Strait River Trail with a view of the west horizon and possibly low foot traffic, you're probably fine. However, the ambient light information provided by Paul Burr with his caveat on tree canopy is exactly what I've been trying to prove. And I'm happy to note that I have Mr. Burr on my side in my argument. Now, you guys have been in Owatonna a long time. You know the layout. Out in Leo Rudolph, you have 30 minutes after sunset in the summer. with the sun slowly sinking down in the evening, shimmering for a long time. It sinks below the horizon. By the time you go up and down across town, all of a sudden you get to Minnow Springs, and down you go into a pit, and it is dark. So, and in the winter, when the sunlight disappears in minutes instead of a half hour, this gets worse. It gets way worse. A light meter comparing ambient light in the parks might be a good experiment. Now, Mr. Berger says that it's still the responsibility of the hunter to hunt in a safe manner and clearly identify their target. Well, we have thousands of motorists on 35 each day, and they also need to drive in a safe manner. Yet, we have such things as headlights, airbags, seatbelts, speed limits, and other laws to make sure people stay safe, so human lives do not just hinge on the subjective view of one driver, whose interpretation of safe may be very dangerous. The same goes for hunting in the dark at Minnow Springs. Please move the time to 30 minutes. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
So 33-year teacher, I brought my digital aid. So Jen Hansen, 639 17th Street Southeast.
Evening.
On Saturday, July 12th, 2025, the Owatonna Pride in the Park event was disrupted by a group of protesters who positioned themselves to the front of the stage. These individuals held large signs with graphic images and sexual language. They shouted religious rhetoric, effectively blocking the view and the audio of the music performance for market attendees. They were allowed to invade, harass, interrupt, and interfere with the event with zero repercussions. Law enforcement was contacted by event organizers and by community members, but the OPD did not respond. This situation raised concerns among event organizers and participants regarding the protection of free speech against the safety of all individuals present, including families with children. Unfortunately, despite the disruption, the Owatonna police still did not intervene to address the situation. I can't help but wonder what the response would have been if this was a city-sponsored event like Downtown 30 Thursdays or Gem Days. Would protesters been allowed to block the main stage and essentially take the event hostage? I believe it is essential for public gatherings to be safe and inclusive for all attendees. We urge the City Council to consider ways to ensure peaceful expression while also protecting the rights of event participants to enjoy city activities without interruption on public land. This incident highlights the need for clear guidelines to support from law enforcement during events to maintain order and uphold the values of our
Thank
community.
you.
First name A-N-N, A-N, last name E-L-E.
Good evening.
The fact that multiple calls were made regarding disruptive and aggressive protesters at Saturday's Pride event and nothing was done is both deeply disappointing and unacceptable. After the harm caused by previous mayor's homophobic remarks, many in the community felt some progress had been made, particularly when current mayor signed the Pride proclamation. However, from what was witnessed this past weekend, it's hard not to see that the proclamation was as merely performative. Several of the values stated in that proclamation were blatantly ignored. I will highlight just two. One, promote their self-affirmation, dignity, equal rights, increase their visibility as a social built community. And two, you should feel safe to learn without fear of harassment. Neither of these were upheld. Instead, protesters were allowed to storm the event carrying grotesque and disturbing signs, including one featuring a bloody dead baby and followed youth around, yelling at them. This is not free speech. This is targeted harassment. Your silence and inaction speak volumes. If the city of Owatonna truly believes in the commitments made in our population, then it must act accordingly, not only in words, but in policy and response. We deserve better. Our youth deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you.
I give you my address, 602 12th Avenue.
Hi, I'm Ricky Wilker of 1615 Woodcut Lane, East.
Evening.
I recently joined Owatonna on the board, so what a great time to start. And this past weekend, I face painted for them. I've been face painting for 15 years at festivals and events all around Minnesota. So I have worked a lot of festivals and events, and I have never seen what happened this weekend. I can tell you that I've spent a lot of time helping kids feel not as scared. There was one little boy that ended up hanging out in our booth the whole time because his parent was performing at the event. So we just kind of, as we were tearing down, just kind of moved things and gave him another place to sit because we were kind of off in the corner and he felt safe there. I also had a little boy tell me that the protesters had bad hearts, and I thought that was just super wise for a little guy that was face painted at that time. So I wanted you guys to know that this happened this weekend. It was traumatic, it was awful, and I think that we should probably put something in place to help future events in Owatonna not be harassed like this. That's all.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paula Jamison. I am a resident of Owatonna. I do ask for safety reasons that I do not have to see my address on camera. I did write it down. Okay, thank you. This past weekend, my children and I attended Rainbow Owattonna's Pride in the Park, an event that celebrates inclusion, resilience, and love. I was part of the entertainment lineup. But before my performance, my children and I explored the booths, enjoying the laughter and lightheartedness that filled the park. That peace was shattered when a group of men began shouting vulgar obscenities behind us. I immediately removed my boys, ages 11 and 7, from the area to shield them from the disturbing language and imagery. Later, the same group forced their way through the crowd again, shouting pretty signs with graphic images of mangled dead infants. My boys, along with other children, witnessed far more than they should have. Many families like mine were visibly shaken. These men blocked the stage, disrupted music, and violated our public space. And I stood in belief as law enforcement did not intervene. This behavior violates our city ordinance on public nuisances and Minnesota state statute on disorderly conduct. This was not protected free speech. It was targeted harassment meant to provoke fear and disrupt a peaceful gathering. Pride in the Park isn't just a celebration, it's a sanctuary for LGBTQ youth who are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. These events save lives. They show compassion, connection, and care for a vulnerable community. I'm not asking anyone to change their beliefs. I'm asking for us as a city to stand up for our children, uphold the law, and protect the peace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Greg Emery. I'm not the best at public speech, so I'm just going to read right from here. I work at a healthcare facility for youth with behavioral and emotional issues, and as the previous speaker had mentioned, I've learned that LGBTQ youth are at higher risk for trauma, self-harm, and suicide than traditional youth. They need to feel accepted. That needs to start with awareness, like pride events and or education. Ideally, they should be accepted for who they are, as they are not hurting anyone. Society and the government have a responsibility to care for them. Just like you wouldn't accept a loud, aggressive person in a city hall event, a coffee shop, that same expectation should flow to rented facilities for public events like Pride. managing protests is not suppression of free speech. And this is just an aside. Psychology has something called an ACE, which is adverse childhood experiences. Studies have shown with each traumatic experience a child has, they are more likely to have long-term health effects for the rest of their lives. Brain scans have shown trauma actually stunts cognition and mental growth as the brain is stuck in a fight or flight survival mode. So I pray for us to work together to prevent harm to our kids.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak this evening?
Hi there, my name is Amelia Velasquez of 230 Southeast Street, Owatonna, Minnesota. Multiple people and I have witnessed an act of violence against the LGBTQ community of Owatonna, Minnesota on Saturday, July 12, 2025. A group of religious extremists from outside our community came to Central Park in Owatonna to antagonize children, family, and individuals celebrating their pride of existing openly. These extremists attempted to cover up music performers with their graphic signs, walk into patrons in the park, yell slurs and other forms of bigotry at children and others celebrating their humanity. My friends and I were waiting for OPT to come and de-escalate the chaos that was ensuing from these extremists, but instead witnessed them on the sidelines, possibly waiting for someone to get physical. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to get hurt in order to ensure protection from our local law enforcement. I would also like to mention off topic that the same ideology that these extremist groups shared and presented at Central Park is the same ideology that contributes to the assault and deaths of hundreds of people who identify as LGBTQIA. And that is all I will say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stonington Drive.
Good evening.
Tonight we've heard about families and children being made to feel unsafe in public space and about the failure to protect those who are targeted. That's heartbreaking and it's unacceptable. And sadly, this isn't an isolated incident. The city has shown time and again it does not prioritize protecting the most vulnerable residents. I spoke to this last year, and a year later, it's worse, not better. What Owatonna is describing isn't just disruption, it's targeted intimidation. And when people show up not to protest peacefully, but to frighten, harass, and silence a marginalized group, it meets the definition of terrorism. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in pursuit of political aims. I'm here most meetings to speak about the East Side Corridor, a 45 to 55 mile an hour highway that would run 17 feet from homes. It would bring high-speed traffic through quiet residential neighborhoods, forever changing the lives of families who live there. East Side Corridor residents have been ignored. They've been locked out of meetings, their voices have been cut off. Decisions are made behind closed doors that will affect their homes, their health, and their safety. Whether we're talking about LGBTQ youth or the East Side Corridor families, the city needs to stop tolerating harm and to start listening to the people that it's supposed to serve. Protect our neighborhoods, protect our children, protect our voices. Owatonna can and should do better. We must protect the most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to council comment and general information. First up tonight is Councilmember Spenby.
I guess I just want to thank the individuals who spoke tonight for your public comment. Something we can look at improving our ordinances, so hopefully next year's event can be peaceful and people will feel threatened. So thank you guys for coming out and giving us your thoughts and input on this event this past Saturday.
Councilmember Voss.
Nothing to add.
Councilmember Dotson.
Yeah.
Councilmember Burbank.
Echo what Brent said.
Councilmember Bulkey.
Nothing to add.
Councilmember McCann.
I would reiterate what Brent said, and then also we have some of our human rights commissioners now in the audience. Thank you for coming. Appreciate that. That's all.
Mayor Mack.
For those of you that attended Pride in the Park on Saturday, for what you had to face, for what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. You shouldn't have had to put up with it, period, end of story. Part's done. When I was asked to sign the Pride in the Park proclamation, I read through it like I do every proclamation, and I signed it because I believed every word that was in there. The reaction that the Pride in the Park event represents not just the ugliest and the worst in Owatonna, it represents the ugliest and the worst in people. And this isn't politics, this isn't me grandstanding, this isn't me trying to curry favor with anybody, this is just me. That behavior was not necessary, and it has no place here. The reaction, or lack thereof, that you showed in the face of that kind of ugliness represents to me the best of what Owatonna has to offer. So from me personally, what you did or didn't do, thank you. And it's important to me to tell you that as long as I'm sitting in this seat, you have an ally. Thank you.
Well said. City Administrator Boosie, who
Yes.
now has one
more
meeting left.
One more meeting, yes. It's coming fast and kind of crazy. But one thing I would like to remind everyone here tonight, our police department is a dedicated group of hard-working men and women doing an extremely difficult job, having to make split-second decisions on very complicated issues of First Amendment and other issues. I mean, I just want to congratulate our police department for responding to shutting down the amplification during that, during the Rainbow event, which I don't want to minimize anything that happened to you. Everything that happened was unacceptable. But I think we really do need to recognize how difficult, how hardworking our police department is, and thank them for their service. That's all I have.
Well said. I have nothing this evening, so with no other business before us, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Dan to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we're adjourned.